Um, so for me, it's been a consistency of making sure that as my brain is fading away, I continuously speak and say what I need to say before the day I can say what I need to say. The people involved in my targeting want me to accept this false reality, right? They do this technology has the ability to rewire you in so many disgusting ways. I understand this is what this technology is capable of doing, and I understand that not only that the people over there know this very well, right? This is what this technology has been doing to people. This is where they break people down in regard to break them down and rebuild them in different fashion. But the breakdown they're using is the breakdown they've been using on others is the pedophilia type of torture. I've been getting this nasty stimulation every time there's a child. Now, if you look at all the way at the bottom there, you'll see like a group is so nasty. In my building, as always, wherever I'm gonna move, there'll be somebody, a group of people involving themselves in my targeting. That's how it goes. Target individual, wherever we go, we'll have perps living around you. It could be your actual neighbors. It could be people who just gonna move in and become neighbors. But the whole ecosystem is gonna be consist of people trying to break you down. And every time I'm out, the one thing, the most disgusting part is how they use their own children so they can do the pedophilia type of torture. It's so nasty. Like, if you are a concerned parent, what you would do is like, oh my gosh, this person might be a predator. Let me hide my kids. They're the opposite because they know this is falsified. They know it's something that can be manipulated. This is what this technology is capable of doing. They know the capability of this technology, and they know it very well. Right? And so they use this trash to try to make you subscribe to it. It's pathetic. So I was going outside, and I was going to go outside get the laundry, and as I'm walking, I hear some babies. I'm like, let me just wait for the kids to go, and then I can go out. But I'm like, you know what? No. Let me deal with this nastiness. The reason why I'm scared to go outside is because I'm going to be forced to gain some disturbing reaction toward children. One way or another, from the babies to whatever. And so I go outside, and there's a family. I see the mother. She looks at me. She said, good morning. I don't even respond to her. I look at her. It's like, you're just trash. I know what you're doing. I just want to look at her. It's like, I truly see you for what's going to happen. Truly will see you for what you're involved in. I know what you're part of. When you look at me, you just understand what you sold your soul to. Don't even talk to me. I look at you for what you are. I'm not even trying to intimidate you. I want you to see yourself for the really shit that you are. When you call me nothing, when you try to do this thing for your own children. What kind of self-respected man or woman will do this? I look at her. She said good morning. I was like, I'm not even going to respond to her. I can't. Can you imagine? I'm bringing my children because they want you to use this technology. They want to use your babies, your kids to to create this false manipulation. No, there's no need for me to say hi to you. You don't understand what you are. My death is not gonna make you any better. You're just trash. They got you in one way. Me, I'm dead. And she, as I'm walking out, she's like, she's like, he's gonna rape you. It's like, yeah, you work for pedophiles. I'm listening to the entities that control this program, and the fact there's a bunch of pedophiles, it's crazy. You see the picture? That's her and her kids. There was one of her kids who was like 9-year-old. I think it's one of they messed with me before. It's so sad. And they give me stimulation toward this baby. It's so sad. It's so sad because these poor kids are babies. They don't know anything. They're just babies. But this woman, so trash. Her, I could look at her for the shit that she is. The babies, I'll see them as the babies that they just try to use to do these nasty things to people. And it was so sad. This baby, like 9-year-old, I was like, oh man, this breaks my heart. But that's what they do. And for me, I took the chance of going outside, knowing the reaction I would be forced to experience, because I want to show these things. I want to show who can be involved in this. They talk about how I'm going to be tortured as if this is going to change. What you involved in this? Me, I was already dead before you even use your children. They're like, I was already... And then they try to say, no, you're going to be, you're... I was like, what? You know what they do to children? You heard. Your babies, how old are they? She's 9 years old. They blind 9-year-old kids. He's what? 3 years old? You know what they do? Testicles? They torture the kids sexually. How old is it? 4 or 5 years old? Do they have Down syndrome? Because you know what they would do? They sexually torture them. 7 years old, guess what they do? Suffocating, can't breathe. Yes? This is real world. Oh, by the way, those entities are protecting. Listen to what the unbelievableness of that. And then I go downstairs and you see this guy. And I'm listening to the issues with pedophilia. And I'm listening to the issue of pedophilia. That just made me think of something. At first, I hear a group of people. I don't want to go inside the elevator. It's like, whatever. I want to get my camera on first, and it's taking some time. It's like, whatever. And so this guy comes out. And when he comes out, I'm filming him. I'm like, okay. And it's kind of weird. Like, he's walking by me. I'm waiting for elevator. And like, okay, it's going to be weird for me to wait. Let's just go into this elevator. You see this face, this guy. He was trying to interrupt me because I was listening to these testimonials, which you're going to hear. Not even testimonials. The fact that there's so much pedophilia in these agencies. It's unbelievable. But he comes in and he says something about, and everything is filmed. And he says something, it's unbelievable, huh? And he's just trying to distract me. I should have said, yeah, it's unbelievable. They let so many pedophiles in this agency. It's weird, huh? Oh, yeah, your money. I go into the elevator, you see this woman holding this baby. I was like, oh, that's what's so sad. At that point, I was like, whatever. I mean, let me just film this. She's kissing her baby on like that, like, and I'm like, to me, they try to create this shit in this nasty stimulation, and she tried to play this mother. I was like, trash. I know why you're using your child. And they're like, oh, you abuse. Try to talk about the stupid thing I did as a kid, middle school. Do you know what they do to babies? This baby was maybe what, a year old or so. This baby is younger than her. They make them sick, torture babies. You nasty shit. What they do to babies? And then forcing men and women to feel reaction to babies? Trash. For people like you who even have children, can you imagine your baby being tortured like they torture these babies? While you are here trying to create something in now, what you did as a child, and they have to exaggerate what this kid, a child, can do stupidly. While they're doing these things to babies. This is the program this trash is involved in. For me, it's like, I know that this reaction is what you make me. You do that to others. Listen to this person there. Listen, she's going to say the same thing. They do the pedophilia type of torture. Listen to her. The smell of baby powder, even smelling, like the smell of babies. They start giving her stimulations on pedophilia things. And you see to the issues with pedophilia. And he says something, it's unbelievable, huh? And he's just trying to distract me. I should have said, yeah, it's unbelievable. They let so many pedophiles in this agency. It's weird, huh? Oh, yeah, your money. I go into the elevator, you see this woman holding this baby. I was like, oh, that's what's so sad. At that point, I was like, whatever. I mean, let me just film this. She's kissing her baby on like that, like, and I'm like, to me, they try to create this shit in this nasty stimulation, and she tried to play this mother. I was like, trash. I know why you're using your child. And they're like, oh, you abuse. Try to talk about the stupid thing I did as a kid, middle school. Do you know what they do to babies? This baby was maybe what, a year old or so. This baby is younger than her. They make them sick, torture babies. You nasty shit. What they do to babies? And then forcing men and women to feel reaction to babies? Trash. For people like you who even have children, can you imagine your baby being tortured like they torture these babies? While you are here trying to create something in now, what you did as a child, and they have to exaggerate what this kid, a child, can do stupidly. While they're doing these things to babies. This is the program this trash is involved in. For me, it's like, I know that this reaction is what you make me. You do that to others. Listen to this person there. Listen, she's going to say the same thing. They do the pedophilia type of torture. Listen to her. The smell of baby powder, even smelling, like the smell of babies. They start giving her stimulations on pedophilia things. And you see this girl is like, oh, you guys are protecting kids. What's happening in this agency? Why is it so unbelievable, my friend? I'd rather die and get raped and cut in pieces than do what you do. You even see the humiliation in his face. Because he wanted to, like, I'm listening to what's really happening here. This man is saying it's unbelievable, the amount of child porn he sees in these government computers. On the government computers. Is your money? And then you do these tactics of pedophilia? No, for me, I'm here to help you out. For the mothers who are willing to show their children so they can do the pedophilia type of torture, which is now we mapped it to you when you were a kid. Really? It's not the same thing that these people are talking about? These people? It's weird, huh? We said the same thing. Do I know them? And on top of that, almost all target individuals are at least getting child porn implanted in their mind. So like, it's weird. Playing the program of perversion aimed toward children. It's weird, huh? It's me. Oh, these ways of thinking, these pedophilia ways of thinking. Is everybody but you guys doing this? Delusional trash. For those mothers and fathers and people like that who are willing to show their children so they can do these pedophilia things. For me, I'm like, yeah, let me show you for what you are. Don't even say hi to me. I'll see you truly for what you are. She said good morning to me. She tried to be like all mannerly. I'm like, you just want to use your children so they can do the pedophilia shit. Try to your own babies, and then you see the other woman. That woman is like, oh, there's a target, a perp next door. She look like she's sickly. I'm like, oh, you look very healthy. She's out here doing these horrible things to me. Every time it's like, you look very healthy. I know I'm dying and everything. You're doing these things to me, but this is if you're healthy, my friend. I think you should take your life, relax a little bit. Because whatever awful things I'm going through is not going to change what you look like and how things are looking like for you. I'm dying off because I'm a target individual. This dignity, my death. This is how you're dying. Living this life. Doing this shit to people. Oof. So nasty. And I was like, oh, you look very healthy. She knows what I mean. It's like, oh, okay. So yeah, I know. To all my target individuals, stay strong.
I am currently a speech-language pathologist working in private practice with young children. I had a 7-year-old client who has autism, and she was the most significantly affected of all of my clients. I eventually had to tell this client to go to another clinic, and they used her to threaten the most torture in me as well as their most extreme forms of torture. For several months, she would cry and scream horribly during our therapy sessions despite having a great day at school. This was highly unusual behavior for her, as she usually behaved very well during her therapy sessions and had been making incredible progress on all of her therapy goals. This was used to threaten extreme torture on me, making me scream and cry, etc. They would make the kids act out the kinds of torture that would later be done on me. For example, they would also sometimes make her bite her hand, threatening to make me bite my hands, as they often do. One day, she had a large, severe bite mark on her arm. She has also grabbed her crotch, saying, ow, and this was used to threaten me with severe sexual torture. One day, I also observed her gasping for air a few times in the same way that I do when I am being more severely suffocated. The suffocation had been in a mild state for a while up until this point. Many of their torture methods are cyclical in severity. Right after I saw this child being suffocated, then I began to experience very extreme suffocation all day, every day, for about 2 months straight, and that's also when they made it worse when I eat. Then I also work with a 4-year-old little girl with Down syndrome, as well as her 5-year-old sister who also has Down syndrome. I observed both of these girls suddenly grabbing their genitals in pain and verbalizing, ow. I observed this at least on 1 or 2 occasions for each of them during their separate sessions. During one session, I observed one of my 3-year-old clients suddenly grab his crotch and lean forward in his chair. And then he made a frightening grimace of severe pain. I asked him what was wrong and if he needed to use the restroom, but he said no to having to use the restroom and was not able to verbalize anything more due to his language delay. He looked puzzled and bewildered. Even though I had stated that it was time to do more work right before this incident,
trying to take over my mind, putting thoughts of pedophilia. It's disgusting. Take this whole thing into account so much and make it so dramatic. It is dramatic. It's somebody trying to end my life. It's somebody trying to end who I am as a person. It's somebody trying to take over my mind, putting thoughts of pedophilia. It's disgusting things. You saw where I was going with that first word.
The targets were forced to perform homosexual acts on each other against their will and religion in order not to be beaten or killed. This is a common breakdown tactic of belief systems and the human will. In no-touch torture, the techniques are more psychologically specialized for each target. Most common examples include homosexual targets that are forced with voices that are derogatory to their lifestyle and similar mental images. Almost all targets are forced to view child pornography in their minds. And vice versa is true, that heterosexual targets are forced to view homosexual sexual acts like in the
I can be free from this torture. Every day has been a miracle of survival. I also experience what is referred to as malodorance. This is the alteration of the smell sensation so that I am often made to smell various things, including smoke, burning, dirty diaper, or baby powder, which they sometimes combine with the pedophilia type of torture, including the threat of planted dreams and videos in my closed eyes.
What I said. Playing with my dog. So that attacks continue. I don't let them get me. Today they continue with the programming of perversion, but this time they are aiming in the use. A people, better said young people, also children and homosexuals. When I aggravated them, I usually called demeaning names, and one of them is referring to homosexuals. For me, all of the slaves are misfits, society haters, scumbags, etc. No, I don't have anything personal against them, homosexuals, but as my way to aggravate the slaves, and since they love to use children for the torture and stalking, street theater etc. Especially teenagers for the stalking at close range with an attitude, they are using them during my sleep in the perversion program, and so you can imagine what the slaves of torture are pretending to do to me. In the last days, as today September 9th,
any part of the body. This technology can be used to sexually manipulate the target. It can make the target feel sexual arousal, or it can sort of turn off the
occasion. I was told I was going to be shot in the face, and it was an older guy. He was like really, really disgruntled and pissed off. Yeah, she's going to get shot in the face. You know, sound like an angry ass old person. I was told I was going to be shot in the face, and it was an older guy. He was like really, really disgruntled and pissed off. Yeah, she's going to get shot in the face. You know, sound like an angry ass old person. You know, then a couple of days later, a female said the same thing. Don't get shot in the face. You know, stupid shit like that. But what I really noticed is with the Voice of Skull, it's a bunch of females. You know, and I'm like, bro, really? You're not a woman. What real woman would stalk another female or sit back and allow that to go on? You really think they
Oh, that's the thing. The rest of the cases, they were sent back to the CIA to handle them internally.
Well, don't worry, Stephen. I think a few of them were fired.
Yeah, well, the rest that's the thing. The rest of the cases, they were sent back to the CIA to handle them internally, whatever the hell that.
Where do you
about
think
that.
you
The
work?
CIA.
That must mean there is such a lack of fearing any sort of accountability. For crying out loud. While on assignment, 1,400? You must have not been doing any job.
Well, even if you had to look at it to make sure you knew what it was, don't you just need to look at one?
Right.
You're like, I better check the other 1,399
double-checking.
just to be safe.
Yes, I better
Each
check the other
file.
1,300 labeled tax things.
Unbelievable.
Oh my goodness.
And the guy with the 6-year-old?
Disgusting.
Twice.
Yeah, twice.
Twice with the 6-year-old.
So and here's the scariest part. Out of the 10 instances that are described in the report, only one person was ever charged with anything.
Yeah.
With anything. Comment below. Do you guys know this story? This should be catnip for the media, right? Think about it. You've got this lewd behavior. You've got corruption at the highest levels of government, right? Aaron Brockovich, something about fake tits and tap water.
Yeah.
The CIA, raping children and sexually assaulting children, and they're not being prosecuted? Where are you?
had sexual contact with a 2-year-old and a 6-year-old, he was simply fired. One employee purchased sexually explicit videos of young girls filmed by their mothers. He resigned. One employee estimated that he had viewed up to 1,400 sexually abusive images of children while on agency assignments. Not sure what actions, if any, were taken by him. One contractor arranged for sex with an undercover FBI agent. I think that you mentioned that. Posing as a child, he had his contract revoked. One CIA staffer was charged with child
8 billion brains on the planet, potentially. Read them. Marines underwater.
How do you explain this is happening to Len? How do you rationalize it?
Him in private. Hold on.
Okay, yeah.
Can I talk? Here's how I do my studies, and I wanted to find the commonalities, but I have to throw away the ones I'm uncertain about that are true targets. You know, maybe there's natural schizophrenia, there's a whole bunch of chemical imbalances,
Right,
et cetera.
right.
These weapons can actually induce and mimic all those diseases and effects. But the conversations, the scripts, they're called, are always the same. I've heard them all. They're slightly tailored for each individual, but they're scripts. And they're meant to confuse the very derogatory. That's just typical breakdown. You know, have you ever been to boot camp? You're a worm until you're part of the team. And why would you want to break down the ego of that person? To rebuild it. So this gets into creating Manchurian candidates, split personality spies, and information couriers, people that will carry the V2K. So they'll say, we're the Russian government, we're the Chinese government, we're evil aliens, we're Satan's, satanic ritual abuse. And I've heard all the stories. One guy believed it was some 14-year-old kid with an Xbox that lived next door. The trickery really is that great when you're under hypnosis that people will believe something other than a massive government could do this. And so anyway, my interview with Len, he very well described a typical breakdown script that's used on almost all the TI victims. TI stands for targeted individuals. Some of them are pretty crazy. They have names like Alice in Wonderland, Wizard of Oz, and those are the confusion tactics. And when they're breaking down the ego of the human through all the pains and tortures and the verbal breakdown, these are typical CIA torture scripts. I mean,